Estamos chegando!
Galera, agora é hora de fazer barulho! Vamos economizar em casa aqui dentro! Certo? Porque vamos receber aqui em cima! Milla Jovovich! Thank you very much for coming to Brazil. I know this is your first time here. So how excited it is to come here and see all the fans.
This is amazing! Hey, we love you so much. We are so happy to be here, and we can't wait for you to see the new movie. I love you!
Milla, Milla, Milla!
Brazil, Brazil, Brazil! Thank you, guys.
Whoa! Hey, welcome, welcome. Hello. Thank you. Hi, I'm Erico. Thank you so much for being here. Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, please. Bom, eu vou falar em português e eles estão recebendo a tradução simultânea. Estão me ouvindo bem? Ok. Muito bem. Antes de mais nada...
Oh my God, it's the Nemesis!
Ei! Bom, antes de mais nada, parece que vocês têm uma surpresinha, né? Um trecho do filme para o pessoal.
Oh, great.
Então, por favor, celulares abaixados, todo mundo sentado. Desliguem.
I'm crying.
Isso foi incrível. Milla,
I actually jumped. That's the crazy part. I was like, oh my God.
ano que vem já serão 15 anos desde que você viveu a Alice pela primeira vez, né? Desde que você estrelou o primeiro Resident Evil. Já são 15 anos. Voltar a viver a Alice exige sempre alguma coisa além de você fisicamente? Sua preparação física mudou nesses anos? Como você se sente sempre voltando a Alice a cada filme?
Well, Alice is definitely one of my favorite characters that I've ever played. And it's amazing because as I grow, she grows, and I think she's changed over time and become, you know, more exciting and more comfortable with herself. And the same, I think, with me. But I think physically as well, it's gotten more difficult. I mean, I've had 2 children, so it gets harder and harder to prepare for Alice. But at the same time, there's a comfort and a confidence that I have with the part, and I think it shows in Alice's character as well.
Do you guys prefer it in English? Because I can see your... Ok, I'll continue em português. Os filmes anteriores de Resident Evil, eles saíam com uma certa regularidade, a cada 2 ou 3 anos. E agora já fazem 4 anos desde que saiu o Resident Evil 5, Retribution. Paul, como que isso impactou para você a sua relação com a série? E como que você integrou isso na criação do filme? levando em conta a percepção do público, né, que já passou mais tempo do que o normal. Você levou isso em consideração?
Well, it was our intention to shoot the movie a year earlier, but somebody got the leading actress pregnant, so we had to delay. But for me, you know, this is the final chapter. This ties everything up. It kind of answers a lot of questions about the Umbrella Corporation, about who Alice really is, about the Red Queen and who the Red Queen really is. And because it was so important, because it's bringing everything to a conclusion, actually having an extra year to work on the script and prep the movie was very good for me. I think we've delivered the best film in the franchise, and I think partly that's because we had the extra time to work on the film. We didn't make another movie, we just put that time and effort into this film.
E o último filme, ele encerrava com um gancho que prometia um apocalipse global. Ele tinha um gancho enorme, um apocalipse global. Esse novo filme parte daquele ponto do apocalipse. Ele é um clímax daquela batalha global? Da onde a gente começa esse novo Resident Evil? Qual é o setup dele?
Well, the movie starts as a direct continuation from the end of the last film. So we start in Washington, D.C., and it really is the global apocalypse. This is going to be the end of the world. Either Alice will save the remnants of humanity or humanity will die.
Ok. E esse sexto filme, ele é também o mais caro da série, né? Ele é o filme que foi mais caro. Na hora de filmar, isso fez diferença para você? Tipo, você continua... Que os primeiros filmes, quando você faz com menos dinheiro, exige mais criatividade. Agora você teve mais brinquedos para brincar. Isso, a gente vai ver esse orçamento extra nas telas?
I think you'll see the biggest film of the franchise. I mean, you get a little hint of it here, and maybe you've seen the trailers as well. I mean, it really has some of the most spectacular visual effects I've ever put on screen, and some amazing action. You know, we wanted it to be the biggest and the best of the franchise, and I think we achieved that. We did more damage to Milla than ever before. Hung her upside down, beat her up even more.
E Milla, isso mudou alguma coisa para você? Assim, você se sentiu trabalhando num filme diferente por conta disso? Ou é o mesmo filme de sempre, só que mais elaborado? Como foi para você no set?
You know, listen, for me, working on Resident Evil 1 was so much fun, even when we had no money, because we loved the video game, and we loved making the movie of Resident Evil. So it didn't matter to me how much money we had. What mattered was to just have a great time and put as much passion and heart into the project as possible, and that's how we've always gone about it. I mean, now obviously the movies cost more and they're bigger than number one, but that we still put the same amount of love and time, and I think for Paul, even more of his time and energy goes into it.
One thing I would say about this movie is that because we had a lower budget on the first film, one of the things we did was we made a very contained, claustrophobic and horrific movie. It was a very scary film, and that's something I wanted to go back to in this movie. So the last half of this film is all set in the Hive. It's a return to the original location from the first film, and it's a return to the scariness of the first movie as well. So while the film has a lot of the big action and visual effects that people have come to associate with Resident Evil, it's also, I think, by far the scariest film I've ever made as well.
É muito legal ver que a parceria de vocês, ela começou criativa, né, e se transformou em algo pessoal. Como é essa parceria hoje? Ela continua criativa? A Milla e vocês dois discutem o filme, discutem o que a Alice vai passar, como é essa relação em termos de criatividade nos filmes de Resident Evil?
You know, I think Resident Evil has always been a big subject of discussion at our breakfast table. Over the years, we've definitely, there's times, let's say, it's been a couple of years, and I asked Paul, when are you going to be inspired to write a new Resident Evil, and we'll talk about things. And I mean, for the most part, Paul will just start waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and he leaves the room and he goes somewhere in the house and starts typing. And I wake up and there's no Paul, and I know that there's a new Resident Evil coming because he's left me. But it's true. It's one of those things where we always had a back and forth about it. I mean, there was one action sequence that Paul wrote into one of the movies that was based on a dream that I had. I had a nightmare, and I told him about it, and he's like, "Oh, that would be really cool for the movie." And then he went back and wrote it in. So but for the most part, I just am really happy to read his wonderful scripts, and if I have a few comments, we talk about it. As long as it's a few months before we shoot, that's the most important part. Don't want to be changing things on the day.
Yeah, but Resident Evil is very much part of our lives, and we do talk about it a lot. Like traveling through airports, Milla will see something and go, "Oh, you could kill someone with that. That'd be interesting. I could jump off something like that." And that's how a lot of the stuff actually kind of grows. It's very, very organic.
A Alice mudou muito, né, a Alice mudou muito nesses 15 anos. Milla, você revê os primeiros filmes de Resident Evil? Você costuma assistir aos filmes para se reconectar com a personagem, ou já é algo que hoje a Alice já faz parte de você, já está acostumada a se transformar na Alice?
I'm not a big watcher of my own movies. I see them once when they're finished, and that's pretty much it. For me, it's really hard for me to watch myself on screen. So I don't really rewatch the movies, but I do feel a connection at this point with Alice that is part of me. And, I feel a connection with Alice on an everyday level. Like, Alice, in a way, is the best part of me. She's the person that makes decisions. She's strong. She's fearless. She has so much honor, and that's something I try and channel in my everyday life sometimes. I think especially being a mother, those are all qualities that you want to have. So I feel like she's a part of me anyway. Not that, listen, I'm not crazy like Alice when I'm a mom. I'm just saying, like, in a small... It's time for breakfast. In a small way, she's a part of me every day. So it's quite easy getting into character. Plus, I have to do so much work to prepare for the part physically. And our sets are crazy. They're cold, they're dirty, they're difficult, people fall. It's not easy. So, of course, all of that just helps you get into character right away.
E como vocês... Óbvio, vocês estão encerrando o filme, a série agora, não estou atrás de nenhum spoiler, mas a Alice, em um momento da história, ela queria ter uma vida perfeita, ela sonhava com uma vida perfeita, mas, obviamente, esse sonho era sempre frustrado pelos desafios à frente. Essa vida perfeita, ou uma vida normal, seria o destino ideal para Alice, ou será que ela está fadada a ser uma guerreira para sempre?
Oh, warrior forever. Are you kidding? I mean, that's, I think, part of what I love about this movie is that Alice had this journey, and she was always very confused about who she was and insecure about who she was, and is she a monster? Is she a creation of Umbrella? Is she a human being? And I think in this movie she finally comes to terms with who she is, for better or for worse, and she is the consummate warrior. I mean, we talk about this all the time, actually, Paul and I, is, what happens at the end of Resident Evil? And Paul is like, there's no way she's just gonna settle down and like decorate her house in some post-apocalyptic fashion and have
Make
barbecues.
pancakes.
Yeah, make pancakes in the morning. That's not Alice.
O filme vai estrear primeiro no Japão, obviamente por conta da franquia ser muito popular lá, mas ela também é muito popular aqui, né? Os games de Resident Evil são muito famosos no Brasil, tem muitos fãs. Algum fã dos games de Resident Evil aqui? Então, Paul, como é a sua relação com os fãs japoneses e como é a sua relação com os fãs do Brasil?
You know, I love the fans of the movies and of the games because I made the first movie because I was a fan of the game. It's the same reason why Milla made the first movie as well. She used to play the game, I used to play the game, Michelle Rodriguez used to play it. So, we came to the franchise with a lot of love for the original source material. And it's one of the reasons why we premiere the movies in Japan, is to kind of pay tribute to the original source of the video game.
E já que estamos falando dos games, a franquia Resident Evil está prestes a se reinventar nos games também, né? Ela está voltar às origens, reinventar o seu DNA. E tanto que o próximo jogo retorna todos aqueles elementos de survival horror dos primeiros jogos de Resident Evil. Você tem acompanhado isso? Você joga os games novos e isso vai ser refletido de alguma maneira nesse filme? Esse desejo de retorno pelo survival?
Well, I do play the game. I still play the games, and the new game I've played, the VR experience at E3, which is incredibly intense and immersive. And I think the movie franchise exists in parallel with the game franchise. But interestingly, we do a lot of the same things. And I think this movie, like the new Resident Evil game, is a return to the horror roots and the scary roots of the first Resident Evil film.
E Milla, você...
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm like, hi, I love you. Let me put this back in my ear. I keep forgetting.
E Milla, você se tornou uma estrela. Sorry. Você se tornou uma estrela de filmes de ação numa época que games como Tomb Raider e os quadrinhos de super-herói valorizavam até demais atributos físicos das mulheres. O foco era muito mais no físico do que em qualquer outra coisa. O seu tipo de beleza, porém, ele é bem diferente do tipo de beleza que era o vigente na época. E o tipo de beleza que você mostra desde do Quinto Elemento e tal, exatamente o que eu estou falando, obrigado. É difícil tentar falar as coisas, exatamente. Então, o que você acha da forma como os games e o cinema de ação retrataram as mulheres ao longo dos anos e como eles estão retratando hoje?
I mean, look, it's a cartoon, and men are also portrayed pretty crazy. I mean, shoulders out to there and those muscles. I mean, it's funny. I see a lot of anime, and I think that comes from Japan a lot, is that super exaggerated human form, whether it's a male or a female. Of course, women have more to exaggerate. But, look, I'm just happy that I could represent a certain type of woman who's strong, who isn't depending just on her body, isn't depending just on her looks, Thank you. And, I'm happy to represent different types of women in the sort of commercial world out there. Because women are amazing and women are tough and women are so strong. Yeah, it's so true. And so I'm just proud to be one of those women that's, you know, out there speaking for all of us.
É muito é muito bacana ver hoje a evolução, né? Porque a gente tinha no passado nós tínhamos poucas heroínas de ação que tinham esse tipo de qualidades. Era a Sarah Connor de Exterminador do Futuro, a Ellen Ripley de Alien, mas a Alice é uma das personagens que conseguiu trazer isso, né? Que conseguiu, e não só trazer, como nesses 15 anos ela nunca mudou em essência, ela continua a mesma mulher forte, independente que ela veio lá do início, e você, como você bem disse, é uma representante dessa mudança. E eu gostaria de saber se você consegue enxergar essa contribuição que os filmes de Resident Evil têm para a mudança da percepção das mulheres nos filmes de ação. Especialmente você, Paul.
Well, listen, I think Resident Evil has been at the forefront of so much since we first started. I mean, you know, when we first started back in the early 2000s, people hadn't seen zombies in like 20 years. I mean, zombie movies didn't exist. You know, now zombies are everywhere. So I think, you know, also the way zombies are portrayed. You know, when you look at Resident Evil 3, for instance, I feel like we really spearheaded the way modern zombies look and act. And, you know, it was really the best of the best at that point, and it's only gotten better. And, you know, I feel like Alice has definitely changed throughout the years, but what I love is that she's grown and she's been embraced by so many people around the world. And I love that so many women and men identify with Alice as their hero. Thank you.
E, Paul, que tipo de novidade a gente pode esperar desse Resident Evil em termos de ação? O que você inventou de novo pra gente nesse sexto capítulo?
We've integrated some of the creatures from the video game. So there's a lot of new creatures that you're going to see. There's a giant flying creature that was featured in one of the video games. There's the Bloodshot, which is a fantastic creature from the last video game. So a lot of new creatures, a lot of very intense action for Milla. And to go with the big action, there's also some very, very claustrophobic horror. But I think most importantly for the franchise is you're finally going to get to discover the truth about Alice, about who she really is. Because she's a character that woke up with memory loss in the first movie, and she never really got her memory back. And this movie is going to address that. So you're finally going to discover the truth about Alice.
E é interessante vocês terem chamado esse filme de capítulo final, né? Ou seja, pressupõe-se um encerramento. Mas a moda em Hollywood agora é você recomeçar, fazer um negócio que eles se chama requel, né? Que é o começar de novo, mantendo elementos da franquia que acaba. Recomeçar mantendo elementos que já foram consagrados na franquia que as pessoas já conhecem. Isso é algo que te interessa ou é hora mesmo de esse ser o último trabalho com Resident Evil, ou você voltaria para fazer um requel de Resident Evil?
You know, when we set out to make the fourth movie, Resident Evil Afterlife, you know, I said that we were going to do another trilogy. It was going to be in 3D. And that's what we've done. And this movie does bring that trilogy to a close, and it brings the Resident Evil franchise to a close and brings Alice's character full circle. So it's a return for her to the hive. It's a return to where everything began, and it kind of closes the circle on the franchise and takes you right the way back to the beginning. I know it's very fashionable in Hollywood to keep milking and milking and milking, but you know, for us, we wanted the franchise to go out on a real high and something we could be really proud of. And that's why we put so much energy and love into this chapter of the franchise.
Muito bem. Queria agradecer. I would like to thank you again for being here. This has been great. And
Thank you.
gostaria de pedir mais uma salva de palmas para Milla Jovovich e Paul W.S. Anderson.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We love you so much. And without all of you, we couldn't have made this movie. And we're so happy to be here in Brazil for Comic-Con. Thank you so much, everybody.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks. Valeu, galera. Obrigado, Sony. Valeu. Fiquem aí, que tem muita coisa hoje ainda, tá? O auditório está cheio. Tenha em mente que se você sair, você não volta mais. Hoje já está cheio, tem fila lá fora. Quem ficar, pode ficar até o final. Mas se você sair, vai ser muito difícil você voltar. Bomboni.